Hey guys, welcome to today's video on the 5 ways that you are leaking energy that's preventing you from building your business. I'm so excited to share this with you. I got so much clarity around this. It's going to really help you. And so if you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Elika. I'm an energy optimization coach, a trusted advisor for purpose-driven leaders who want to have way more energy because you understand that that's what you're going to need to create the impact that you're here to make in this world. So let's jump straight in. And I'm going to say to you, I wrote these 5 down just like coming out of meditation today. And I had a bingo moment where I was like, there's another one. And you know, when you're kind of like, should I just put those 2 together? And then I was like, no, actually, let's just give them a bonus. So forgive me, no, don't forgive me for giving you an extra one as we go through. So I know that you are not tired and exhausted from hustling. You are feeling that lack of consistent energy as you grow yourself and your business because there's a misalignment to who you are in your core and how you use your energy out there in the world. And so as I share through these ways, what you're really looking at here is all of the ways where you are not aligning with the true essence of who you are. So the first one I want to start with is the obvious imbalances that I see when I'm working with my clients on their masculine and feminine containers in their business. So when we build a business, we need, like everything, a bit of yin and a yang, a bit of light, a bit of dark, a little bit of soft, a little bit of hard, a little bit of... Everything in the world works on polarity of energies. The magnet has a plus and a minus. And your business also has the masculine energies and the feminine energies. So when I'm coaching, it depends on what client I'm with, but most of my clients, I have to step into the masculine and I have to really instruct them very clearly on what I see and what they need to do. However, I'm using my feminine all the time because a lot of the things that I'm coming up with and that I see for them are not always things that they've told me, but things that I intuit. So as I become that vessel for them that channels the insight that they need, that's also the feminine energy. So we are always in this dance between 2, right? But when I look at a lot of people's businesses, there's always an imbalance in which part of their business is not their strength. And so I want to explain to you that the masculine part of your business is the structures, the systems, the processes, the checkout page, the ability to reach the checkout page, the ability to ask for somebody to pay you, right? Oh, I remember like a beautiful coach that came into one of my inner circles and she is phenomenal, 30 years of experience in her craft. And when I scanned through her website, I couldn't find the place where to pay if I wanted to buy something from her. And this is just like so an example of how we dim our light. So if you feel, for example, that you have a business, whether that's a product-based business or a service-based business, and you cannot see, without you guiding someone, a clear way that somebody can come in, understand what you do and what you sell, understand the nuances about that, and then move to buying it, and that process is not really clear for them, then you have an issue with your masculine containers in your business. If you look at your business and you feel that you're ready for the next stage, whatever that is, in terms of volume of sales, in terms of revenue or profit line, margins, whatever it is, and you cannot see very clearly where the business has a structure in place that allows you to get to that next stage, then you have a problem with the masculine elements of your business. So when I'm working with some of my clients that are new founders, my clients will typically, if they're a new founder, have had a lot of success in their previous career and they decided to want to run their own thing. If they're working inside a business already, then usually we're looking at how do we get them to that next level within the business. And honestly, when we work on their energy, they do it. I just literally had a client this week that called me after finishing the program and let me know that she just got promoted and she wasn't expecting it. And her new problem was she felt bad because nobody else got promoted but her and the company's gone through a restructure. Nice problems to have, right? So what is that? Is that we've looked at, what I look at with them is, what do you need to do at every level? So where are we right now? And what is the level that we need to do next? So for example, one of my clients who had a Pilates business, we looked at the containment of the people that come through to classes with her. And we could see that the admin side of that process required a lot of back and forth with her directly. And she's there to teach. So she can't be dealing with that. So we looked at what is the best thing to have in place. Do we use an AI bot? Do we use a virtual assistant? Does she need a physical full-time administrator? All of these things. Now, based on her particular business, she didn't need to have like a full-time in-person administrator that could work on the admin element of going back and forth. But we could still put some structure in place that could create so much space for her to focus on her craft. Whereas I've had other clients where, I had another client that has run a advertising agency for well over 15 years. She's in the top in her industry. She's very well established, very well known. And when I looked at the containment of her business, the challenge was that she had all these people in place. They had processes, they had SOPs, but she hadn't put structure in her own life that meant that she removed herself away from her business so that her business could grow and expand without her. So if you imagine the business itself had all the things in place, but she herself hadn't put that into her own life, that meant she had to withdraw. And so the masculine structures and systems and processes can show up in multiple ways. And when I'm examining people's businesses, I can see exactly what it is that you need, but this is something to look at. And when we look at a business that has a lot of feminine, that's because it doesn't have that containment. So the other day I met with a new coach, and she has been for about 10 years in sexual wellness. And she started off as a psychologist, and she was working with clients, and she realized that without going into the somatics, without working within their body, they were just having great conversations, but it wasn't really getting her the shift that she really wanted to have and the results she wanted to see with her clients. So she moved from that into sexual wellness, and she started working with the body through yoga. And through yoga, she was able to, work with the body, open up the body, get them to be connected more with their inner world. And then she was like, okay, the next level for her was Tantra. So she started to move in towards the Tantra understandings and practices and rituals, and started teaching her clients that. So when she spoke to me about working with me one-on-one, when I looked at her business, the first thing I looked at, I'm being honest, was her. So she rocks up, she looks friggin' beautiful, gorgeous, sexy as hell, just beautiful woman, radiating the feminine energy. And I'm meeting her in a place that's quite formal. And I'm thinking, as I look at her, what she's wearing isn't appropriate for this space. But what she's wearing, to me, is something that I would expect at one of the conscious festivals, or the cacao ceremonies that I go to, or a tantra class. It just wasn't appropriate. And then the thing that she was telling me was that she really wanted to break into corporates. And I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, even if you were to attract clients in a cafe where we were sat, a guy would not speak to you about some of the areas that you're saying that you want to develop into. Men that were in senior leadership roles but having terrible relationships at home, intimate relationships with their home, just really physical issues, like all the things she was telling me. And I was looking at her and I was going, nobody would approach her because they would be, firstly, they'd be like, oh, is it appropriate for me to be seen talking to her when she looks that way? And this is no judgment, but this is just the hard truth that I had to share with her. And I talked to her about corporate setting and that environment. She was like, oh no, but with corporates, I speak to them differently. I present myself differently. But the truth is, the hard thing that people don't want to see when they're given a fact like this is how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you meet me and you don't know my background, you don't know how I present myself or anything like that, but you know enough to say that you want to work with me and you want to work with me to expand your business in B2B, and you rock up like in a way that you can go to your conscious festivals, then that tells me that you're already not operating in the level that you would need to do to open up those doors. And so for me, the obvious thing there was that she had gone so much into her creative zone of feminine energy and tantra and all the conscious community, that she can attract. And she's posting in all the WhatsApp groups that they're in and sharing in the Facebook groups and all of that. But none of those corporate people that she wants to target, those businesses that she wants to set in, are in those containers. And even if they're in those containers, they're not inviting her into those companies, into their own company, bringing her in as a guest speaker for a company, asking her to run workshops in their company around sexual wellness, when they see her as somebody that serves the spiritual community. So everything that she was doing was fantastic for the clients that she's trying to move away from, but nothing for the clients that she's trying to work with. And so you can see that sometimes, especially for artists and creatives, we can create beautiful art, we can create a beautiful service, we can touch people's hearts, we can open up their bodies, and yet we don't necessarily provide a structure, a system, a process, a containment that is going to allow our business to scale in the way that we have, to reach all different audiences, to open new doors that we need to open. So there is a lot there just on the feminine and masculine containment. And you can see how powerful that could be if you examine your own business, or you notice that there is a gap already in your business. Okay, so the second one that I want to talk about is it's really about having energetic boundaries. Now, most of the time when I'm working with somebody on energetic boundaries, the thing that I have to say, whether it's friends or family in your life, is it's very rare that actually you need to have a conversation with somebody. That's actually our fear that stops us, that I need to tell them that, this doesn't work for me, or, I don't think we can continue our friendship, or this relationship is not working, or I don't want you to do that. No, actually, look at how we teach children. Children do not learn from what we tell them. They learn from what they see, right? They learn from our own embodiment. And so a lot of the energetic boundaries are you firstly deciding what you are available for and what you are not available for, and therefore you aligning with those things. So I am not available to meet friends in junk food restaurants, so they will not invite me there. And if they invite me, this happens all the time, or you want to meet me for a coffee and you invite me to a place where I just know it's just like pastries and sugar drinks, like I will suggest another venue, and they're pretty happy with it. And I will suggest it in the same location, but I'll make it easy for everybody. But that's because I'm not available to hang out in like, for example, I personally don't like to hang out in these big chain cafes that really don't care about people's well-being, that have done fantastically in terms of the numbers and the volumes, but it's a transactional area, and I just don't think it gives me the energy that I want my physical body to be in order to thrive. So I don't like to meet people that, so I'm not available for that. So in relationships, I'm not available for things. Somebody asked me this recently, what are things that you're absolutely a no-no for in terms of boundaries? I'm not available for people that really just want to disturb my inner peace. Like, my inner peace and keeping my joy means so much to me. So I have a huge capacity to support others. I have a huge heart to be able to open up and give. I have an abundance mindset to understand where people just need to receive in that moment. But what I'm not available for is somebody shows me on multiple occasions that they enjoy the drama and they're not about the peace, they're not about the joy. I'm not available to share my energy field with them. And then even also, I see this so much as people that create content on social media. It doesn't matter whether it's Instagram, whether it doesn't matter whether it's YouTube or even LinkedIn. But especially I see this in Instagram, where your energy and your I would say it's almost your information field or your aura is a magnet to people that are not going to be able to serve you in the way that you want. So for example, you could have somebody that is showcasing a product on Instagram, and the way that they showcase it is one where it's going to attract people that have very little money. Like you talk about things that like highlight things and the way to present yourself in a very feminine way and a joyful way, but you attract people that are like for quick fixes. Like I see it with supplement companies as well. You attract people for quick fixes rather than a full lifestyle. So for example, if you look at my content, I'm an absolute expert in nutrition. Studied the largest nutrition school in the world. I trained as a plant-based chef, despite being a carnivore. So I look at both sides, very deep. I opened up a Whole Foods organic restaurant and did manage my whole inventory. I've done meal plans and created meals as a consultancy business for other people's establishments. And yet, if you ask me about nutrition, I will not spend my whole time talking about eating calories, eating macros, and getting people the quick fix, when I understand that if they don't embrace a mindset around eating healthy, even if they eat these foods that I'm telling them to eat, they're not going to be able to sustain it. If they go on a keto diet, if they go on a vegan diet and they have the wrong mindset, they're not going to be able to sustain that as a lifestyle. So they're going to get quick fix results, but ultimately they're going to come back to the emptiness that they feel inside of them that they think they can fix through, going on a specific diet. So I really allow that my talks around nutrition, my conversations around nutrition are part of a bigger picture. And so you can see that in my content. You see that I have a roadmap called the Energy Reset Recipe, where I have 4 pillars that build my framework of how to reset the energy so that you can be an overflow of energy in your life. I am very much a bridge between ancient wisdom and modern day wellness, because I understand that the science, we don't have the science for everything that we need to know. And the ancient wisdom sometimes speaks in a language that we can't articulate in the way that human beings live today. So these are ways where you have to think about your energetic boundaries in multiple ways. Like, what are you magnetizing to you? Are you magnetizing people to you that see you as their source of joy, but will not give to you what you need, like not fully allow you? Almost they give you something that keeps you in their vicinity, but not enough so that you feel nourished by them. We see this in so many relationships where, for example, the surface level stuff are maintained. You have somebody to accompany you to go to dinners or to spend time with at your downtime, but you always feel a little bit anxious about, is this person someone that I can open up to about my deepest, darkest things? Are they still going to be around? Are they going to get triggered by this? So are you magnetizing that by not standing in your truth, by not being your most authentic self? Are you magnetizing clients to you that can't pay you what you deserve because you are not firm in your boundaries of, for example, what you deserve to be paid or what your product is worth? Are you attracting to you environments or spaces where people are leaning on you as the source of the things that they need without providing you a strong foundation, a root for you to grow and prosper? So there's so many ways where we energetically need to have boundaries in what we're available for and what we're not available for, where we have to let go of this part of ourselves that will always be there to some level of wanting to please the tribe to survive by people pleasing, by, saying yes when we know inside the whisper of our soul is like, no. So energetic boundaries is another way that you are leaking energy unnecessarily that's preventing you from building your business. Okay. The third one is one of my favorite tools that I use with clients is human design. Those of you that are new to human design is, oh my gosh, it's phenomenal. So look at my description box and you will see information about how to do human design readings with me to go deeper. Human design is a roadmap to your authentic self. It is the blueprint of how your energy body is designed to give and receive energy. It's going to give you clarity on who you are, what you're here to do, and how you're here to do it. And human design is not another piece of information. It's not another archetype like Myers-Briggs and disc profiling. So if you've had your human design and you're walking around telling everybody, I'm a generator or I'm a projector, what you've unfortunately had is more information without embodiment. And what I teach my client is, how do I live by my human design? How do I live by the most authentic expression of who I am? And so what that means is, what am I here to communicate? What is the message that my soul came here to communicate, which we can see in the human design? How am I here to make decisions so that I know that this is not for me and this is for me? And that I feel that in the core of my body and I know where in my body that signal is to me. Human design will tell you, like, how do I process my emotions or information that's coming to me, or sit in an environment that's conducive to me from my energy body, from the parts of my body that has to regulate information that's coming in, emotions from other people that are not mine, fear, intuition. Like, how do I regulate all of that? And do I need to regulate it? Like, is my superpower in supporting that in others or regulating that within myself? Is my superpower in giving that to others, or is it in myself? Is my energy body designed for the complexities of things or for the bigger picture things? So without your human design, like, you can do it. It just takes longer and it's more confusing. And you're going to be piecing together things about your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, and the core purpose of your soul in this world, bit by bit, without having a clear path that is there as your North Star to guide you every single day to recalibrate you to what you're supposed to be doing. So I can't speak more highly about how human design has fundamentally changed, not just my life, but the people that I work with, by giving them the clarity and the courage that they need to live in their true alignment to their values and the core beliefs of their soul. That's the third one. Okay, we're doing good here. Right. The fourth is lack of inner work. Inner work is a deeper understanding of your inner world versus your outer world. So most of us came into wellness through doing work on the physical body. So we dieted, we went on various nutrition courses, or we controlled our diet, and then we did exercise and more exercise and different types of exercise. And that only works on the physical body and the outside really of what people can see. Of course, diet is going to work on your body in a cellular level, but the main reason, let's be honest, why most people do it is to work on what people see from them on the outside. But the true work and what I experienced after not just my first burnout, but my second burnout. Because my first burnout was when I became an expert in nutrition. I was creating meal plans and helping so many people with food through the restaurant. But my second burnout was living that purpose with the core essence of just wanting to help people and going, how is this coming at the expense of my body, my relationships and everything when I just want to serve? And the truth was I was holding a frequency of, I have to work hard and not smart. And so in every opportunity that I had to receive support, I couldn't take it. I couldn't receive it. I couldn't delegate. I couldn't trust. I couldn't heal my abandonment wounds. So I held on to people that couldn't serve me or couldn't fill my cup in the way that I needed. So I always felt abandoned. I couldn't trust. So I always just controlled. I felt a deep sense of injustice, that this was happening to me rather than for me. The rejection that you feel when you are abandoned and you also can't fit into circles or communities that you think, all of these wounds were things that I had to heal in my inner work. And I'm going to be honest, I always say for me, I think I'm going to be doing inner work till the day I die. But it's at different levels because now my ability to react to these situations that show up is different. So I understand I cannot control my environment. I cannot control people, but I can control my reaction to it. I can control the story that my elephant brain is telling me about this particular scenario. And that fear, that primal fear part of my spleen that is turned on in my human design chart, that will walk into a room or walk into an environment and sense the fear immediately. I know how to alchemize that into the intuition that means that I have the conversation with the person at the right time in the right place. So you sit me in a room and I am literally a magnet for all the things that I desire. And so I don't need to work as hard. I don't need to use time as the way of me being successful when I can use my energy as the way that I magnetize my success. And so is every day a perfect day? No, it's not. But I tell you, the inner work that I have done has shown me that when the shit hits the fan, I apologize for the swearing, but when I see big moments like, what happened in COVID, I could see how I was responding and how everybody else around me. And that's why I say to my clients, you will be in the top 10%, because when I change you physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and how you look at the lens, you are going to see things very different to other people. And the truth is, that's why a lot of my clients get diagnosed with, or they suspect they have ADD, ADHD, whatever the new mental term that they're going to get pigeonholed with. The reason why they get labeled this is because they're not normal. Because normal at the moment is obese. Normally is having an inflammatory issue. Normal is an autoimmune issue. Normal is having anxiety. This is currently normal in today's world. And therefore, I don't want to be normal. Normal is a cycle in a washing machine, and I know my clients are not normal. And yet, we have to do the inner work so that we're not trying to fit into circles that are not for us, containers that are not for us, communities that are not for us, so that we can plant ourselves in environments where we can blossom. Because you bloom where you bloom when your plant, your seed, is put into fertile ground. And you've got to know what fertile ground looks like. And therefore, you've got to know what is your seed and what are the nutrients that it needs to be watered and to blossom. And so inner work gives us that. Okay, where are we? Yes, I'm still tracking well. I just want to count. But yes, I'm on 5. So the 5th way is not paying for your own personal and professional growth. Like, I'm going to be honest, I remember investing in a very expensive container. We're talking about $10,000 a month. And it was really triggering for me because every single part of me needed to experience something at that level, receive at that level in order to justify what I was paying out. And as somebody that, I don't charge cheaply for coaching because I don't believe I'm cheap. I believe that I'm deeply transformative. And I can see in my clients, for example, in a 12-week container, that they don't even need to go 12 weeks before they have that change. Actually, I'm seeing that change so much more before, but I need to spend the rest of the time with them, integrating it deeper, letting them fail so that I can identify the moments where they fail and get them to pick themselves back up multiple times so we can see the pattern. And so when it comes to investing, I always say that you can only meet the people that you want to serve as much as you've met yourself. So for me, if I want to coach the top 10%, if I want to work with some of the biggest spaces and brands in helping them create wellness spaces, if I want to work with the best minds out there that are here to change humanity for the future, then I know that I've spent hundreds and thousands on my own personal growth, and every cent that I invest in myself is worth it. I also know that if I invest in my sales training, which for me, that has been changing over the years because my initial background had a lot of sales in it. So I was fortunate that came to me more naturally. If I want to invest in marketing, in AI in my business, in going to some networking events to be around the type of standard of people that I want to be around intellectually, then I understand that the return on me of investing in those is very transparent. It's very obvious. I see it. I see when I invest in the stock market and I lose money, win money, lose money, win money. Even if I win, I look at the investment, look at profit. I'm in Dubai now, one of the best countries in the world for real estate. And some of the real estaters here are telling me they can get 10% on real estate in Dubai. 10%, that's really, really good. But what if I tell you that I have 2 coaches at the moment, by having the coaching sessions that I have at the moment, that I go out and I sell 3 times as much in terms of my revenue, my income, based on the insight that I got from that coaching. As I have just had a coaching session now with one of my coaches where the insight that she gave me on my business and the clarity on the message that I'm saying was so important to me that what it did is it gave me this energy that just went, oh my God, I've got to share, I've got to post. And I literally, that night, I was like, okay, update this, create this content, create this video. And because I already had one level that was already good, but she brought me to a whole nother level of clarity. Could I have got there myself? Of course I could have. But the time that would have taken me and the revenue opportunity lost in that, the opportunity cost, it's worth investing. And so humans forget in this scenario, especially women. Like I speak to men that say that they're ready to start looking at getting some help. And when I tell them what I do, they're just like, okay, sign me up. Women are like, oh, I don't know if I can invest in it yet. Maybe I need to go on a holiday first and see how I feel after the kids. And they don't realize that every decision that you make, every way and energy that you bring to your family, your children, your business, your clients, is based on where your energy frequency is. So if you're not investing in yourself and keeping yourself in overflow, then everything that everybody else experiences from you is diluted. And so you'll earn less, you'll feel less, you'll get less alignment to who you truly are, you experience less love, all of this because you're not making that investment in yourself. Some people invest in their websites, they spend so much money on their website, but they won't invest in the person that will guide them on what to put on the website so that the website content sells for itself. Crazy. So I could go on and on and on as somebody that looks at my clients from the lens of personal and professional growth. So I'm always looking at the big picture holistically with them. And so I can see how without my input, they can get there, but they're successful, they're motivated. But like having that partnership, it's a quantum leap for them. So don't ever be afraid to invest in yourself and see that will return. The key thing here is being discerning that when you invest in yourself, you're investing in somebody that has got proven results in the area that you want them. That's important. Okay, so are you ready for the 6th bonus, right? So we've done 5. So I'm going to give you a bonus, which is the 6th way that you're leaking energy in your business unnecessarily and preventing you from growth. I mentioned it a little bit, but it's not taking care of yourself. Now, even though most people start their wellness journey on the physical body, as a founder and a business owner and a leader, if you don't prioritize your nutrients, the food that creates the fuel for your cell, that creates the clarity of your mind through the gut-brain connection, you put junk in the gut and you think you're going to have clarity of mind, you think you're going to be free from anxiety in this world? No way. You put junk in your body and you think that your body's going to have the strength to get up every day and put purpose into your business. You don't build muscle and you're not going to feel what it feels like every day to just feel strength in the body. That's what muscle does. You walk around and you feel stronger. When you feel stronger, think about how you communicate. When you communicate from a feeling of embodied strength, because your body feels like strength, right? Like when you don't invest in your physical body, like the truth is, something comes along, you fall sick, how are you going to grow your business? How are you going to work? Like the next virus that comes along, the next disease that's coming, you're going to be so petrified about it. You're going to be paralyzed in fear. You're going to be procrastinating over it. So taking care of the vessel that has to show up every day to channel the products, the services, the gift that you have into this world is so important. And so I hope this is giving you some real important insights that you need to understand where you're leaking energy unnecessarily that's preventing you from growing your business and yourself personally and professionally to create the impact that you have. I would love for you to share in the comments below any takeaways that you've got, any insights, or anything that just comes to mind from what I've been sharing. If there is somebody in your life that you feel needs to hear this, please share it. And don't forget that my newsletter is the place where I'm always constantly sharing my lifestyle habits, my hacks of like where you can understand how to manage your life by energy in bridging the gap between everything that we were taught in ancient wisdom and the modern day wellness habits and hacks that we need. I'm really sharing that in my newsletter, so make sure you look at that in the description box. If you've got to a point in your life where you're like, you know what, I want a trusted advisor, I want to go on this partnership and have somebody help me work together, that's where you want to apply for the Health Concierge, my signature program, by getting your energy audit, and that's where we're going to go deep dive and see whether you'll be suitable for us to go on that partnership together. So of course, gotta say, like, subscribe, of course you're going to want to, so you can stay on top of all of these beautiful tips that we're sharing. I'll see you on the next one.